"Stop looking at my shirt," Valentina commanded, trembling. Rain was invading the manor, and the wet silk made transparent not just her skin, but the truth she was hiding. Miguel, the gardener whom society ignored, held her gaze. "I don't see your clothes. I see you." The tension exploded stronger than the thunder. He, talented and in debt. She, wealthy and prisoner of appearances. There, in the darkness, hierarchy crumbled. Only a man, a woman, and a dangerous desire remained. He took a step forward. If she gave in, would it be the end of her perfect life or the beginning of something finally real? Would you follow reason or your heart in that moment? Give it a like and tell me, have you ever lived a forbidden love? One finds it so difficult to find trustworthy people these days. Most are just out to take advantage. The words, uttered with a dismissive air, revealed an inescapable prejudice. The automatic assumption that someone like Leo, a man who worked with his hands, was potentially dishonest. He's not like that. How do you know? How long has he been here? 2 weeks, 10 days. But to her, it felt like a lifetime. I know. Lady Camilla devoured her with that maternal gaze that always saw too much. "You're blushing." "I'm warm, Mother. Please don't start." But Lady Camilla had already begun. In her eyes, the familiar mix of worry and judgment that defined their entire relationship. "Just don't do anything foolish, darling. You're vulnerable. It's easy to mistake gratitude for other things." "Gratitude for what?" "For a handsome man paying you attention after what Bruno did." The casual cruelty of that phrase tore through Eleanor. "I need to change." She fled the kitchen before the tears overwhelmed her. From her room, Eleanor watched Leo. The kitchen window was open. He was less than 10 meters away. He had heard. She mentally pleaded for him not to have. But the tension in his shoulders, the way he avoided looking at the house, confirmed the inevitable. Every word. Mechanically, Eleanor put on her daily armor, linen trousers, a silk blouse. Pretending everything was fine. Downstairs, Lady Camilla was leafing through interior design magazines. "Ready to discuss dinner?" "There's nothing to discuss. I'll have dinner and go home." "You need to give Alistair a chance. He's perfect on paper." "On paper? An established businessman, good family, no scandals. What more could you want?" "Someone who makes me feel alive, who truly sees me, someone who sketches plants in old notebooks with hands calloused from building beauty." "Nothing, you're quite right." Lady Camilla smiled, satisfied. "Splendid. Wear the navy blue dress discreet, and please don't mention the divorce. Men don't like bitter women." Eleanor nodded. Agreeing had always been easier than fighting. At 5 in the afternoon, Leo left without saying goodbye. Eleanor watched him put away his tools with abrupt movements, climb into his van without a backward glance. By 6:30 p.m., she was ready for the dinner she didn't want. The restaurant, the Gilded Lily, was discreet and expensive, the exact environment for people like her. Alistair Finch was already waiting. Early 40s, well-groomed, impeccable suit. Seeing her, he rose, a smile of one who always gets what he wants. "Eleanor, your mother didn't exaggerate. You're even more beautiful in person." He kissed her hand, and she forced herself not to recoil. "Alistair, a pleasure." The dinner followed the expected script. Alistair expounded on his lucrative medical equipment business, on his incompatible ex-wife, and on what he was looking for. Someone who understood his lifestyle, who wouldn't bother him. Eleanor chewed the tasteless fish, nodding at the right moments. "You're perfect," Alistair declared. Over dessert, as if appraising an object. "For what I need, that is. Beautiful, elegant, from the right sort, divorced, no silly romantic illusions." A chill ran down Eleanor's spine. "Silly romantic illusions, you know, women who expect poetry and romance. We're adults. Marriage is a partnership, mutual convenience." He took her hand across the table, his thumb tracing circles on her skin. "We could be very convenient for each other." Eleanor abruptly pulled her hand away. "I need to use the loo." In the mirror of the ladies' room, she faced her own reflection. Perfect makeup, immaculate hair, an impeccable dress, and the right man waiting outside. Yet inside, an empty echo whispered, everything was wrong. Leo, the only one who truly saw her, would never treat her this way. He challenged her, inspired in her the yearning to be more. The impulse to call him was immediate, but her phone revealed the harsh truth. She didn't have his number. The lack of that simple contact propelled Eleanor back to the table, with a new decision and an urgency coursing through her veins. "Alistair, I need to go." He stood, his closeness unsettling. His hand found her waist, possessively. "The night's barely begun. I thought we could go back to my flat and get to know each other better." When Alistair tried to kiss her, Eleanor pushed him away. "No." "Why? You're divorced, I am. We're adults." "I said no." The mention of her mother. "Your mother said you were ready to move on." It revealed the true reason for the dinner. Camilla selling her daughter off like merchandise. My mother was wrong. Eleanor grabbed her handbag and left the restaurant without looking back, leaving Alistair open-mouthed and the bill untouched. On autopilot, Eleanor watched London blur past the windows. Home not yet. Her tires screeched to a halt by instinct in front of the Old Lion pub. The worn tables remained, and Dave was wiping glasses behind the bar. "All right, mate? You a friend of Leo's?" She nodded, her voice caught in her throat. "He's not here today. Fancy a sit down anyway?" She shook her head, a silent no, and got back into the car. It was past 10 when she finally arrived home. A large brown envelope awaited by the entrance. Her name, in that unmistakable handwriting. Inside, a treasure. The architectural plans on tracing paper. The detailed backyard design, every plant, every pathway, every bench planned to capture the perfect sun. It was her vision there, beautiful, perfect, but now impossible. Stapled to it, a short letter. "Dear Ms. Beaumont, please find enclosed the requested design. The estimate is attached. Unfortunately, I won't be able to carry out the work myself due to prior commitments. I suggest you contact Duo Landscaping. They are competent and honest. It was a pleasure working for you. Yours sincerely, Leo Vance." Eleanor read the words 3 times. Relinquishing. He was leaving. She had lost him before she even had him. The telephone rang. Camilla. "So, how was dinner?" With the plan still in her hands, the formal signature, and the distance a Mrs. Beaumont created, she replied, "It was awful." "What? Why? What did you do?" Her mother's silent accusation. The mistake was hers. Perhaps it was, but not as Camilla imagined. "Mother, I have to go." "Eleanor, don't be so dramatic. Alistair is perfect for you. Perfect for you and for what you think I ought to be. You don't want what's best for me, you want what's easiest to explain at the club." A dense silence filled the line, heavy with unspoken truths. "How dare you? I'll call you tomorrow." Eleanor hung up before her mother could retort. Back in her bedroom, she collapsed onto the bed, still in the dress from the disastrous dinner. Leo's plans spread out beside her. Her trembling fingers traced each line, every detail, feeling the care, the passion. He had poured his heart into that project, and she had hurt him deeply. She picked up her phone, typing what she should have said hours ago, days ago, from the very first moment. "Mrs. Higgins, I need Leo's number. It's urgent." The reply came in 3 minutes. "Mrs. Beaumont, he called me a little while ago, asked not to return to your house, said it was personal. Sorry, I can't give you his number without his permission." No, of course she couldn't. Eleanor threw her phone onto the bed, fixing her gaze on the ceiling. For the first time in 6 months, Eleanor wept. Not for the lost marriage, nor for her crumbling life, but for the real man she had, out of cowardice, let slip away Leo. For 3 days she called a number she didn't have. Twice she went to Brixton. At the Old Lion pub, Dave merely confirmed his disappearance. "If you see him, tell him I was here." And he mused, "He doesn't just vanish like that. Must be upset about something. Or someone." Back home, she stared at the architectural plans. Every line, every choice, Leo's very soul. And she had thrown it all away. Wednesday darkened early. Dense clouds swallowed London. Eleanor, in the living room, phone in hand, felt the initial gust rattle the windows. A spring storm, strong, violent, and swift. Rain hammered against the glass like a machine gun. The light flickered once, twice, total darkness. Helena's mobile phone became a torch in her search for candles in the kitchen. The sound of water was deafening. Not just the rain, but something within the property itself. She rushed to the back window and saw the irrigation system had failed again, this time worse. Water gushed, flooding flower beds, the puddles growing rapidly. "No, no, no!" Eleanor despaired. Leo had shown her the stopcock, but she had never paid attention. He had always been there. Now he wasn't. Donning a raincoat, she rushed out to the garden. The storm hit her like a solid wall, icy rain drenching her. She tried to close a valve, but it was stuck fast. Her hand slipped on the metal. "Bloody hell! Get out of there!" The shout sliced through the storm. Eleanor spun round. Leo was running, soaked to the bone, toolbox in hand. "Leo, no! Get inside! I can help!" "Eleanor, for goodness sake, get out of the way!" His tone brooked no argument. She stepped back. Leo, on his knees, worked quickly on the drain beneath the torrential rain. A flash of lightning and a rumble of thunder shook the ground. "Leo, it's dangerous!" "Almost." Another minute of struggle and the drain gave way. The water stopped. Only the rain and their heavy breathing remained. Leo staggered to his feet. Eleanor caught him. "Are you all right?" "I am." But he was trembling. "Get inside, please, Eleanor." The storm worsened, a peal of thunder closer still. "I'm not letting you get electrocuted in my garden. Get in." She pulled his hand. He hesitated but followed her. In the darkened house, dripping onto the marble, they stopped. Eleanor lit candles with shaking hands. The light danced, creating surreal shadows. "How did you know?" "I was driving past, saw the lights go out and I couldn't just leave." He wouldn't meet her gaze, standing near the door as if ready to bolt. "Leo, about the other day, You don't need to explain." "I do. My mother said horrible things, and I didn't defend you. I was a coward." "You were honest." His voice hard, full of hurt. "I'm the gardener, you're the owner. It's always been that way. I'm the one who forgot his place." "Your place." Eleanor stepped forward, anger replacing guilt. "What place is that?" Leo exploded. "I cut your lawn. You live in Kensington. We're not equal, Eleanor. I never said it, but I didn't have to." He stared at her, and the pain in his eyes cut her deeper than any accusation. "You felt ashamed when that chap saw us together. Don't deny it. I saw it." "It wasn't shame. It was fear," she retorted. "Fear of being judged for being with someone like me. Like you. Poor. A failure. Good for fixing your plants, but not for sitting at your table." The words exploded between them. "Do you think I care about money? That I'd choose Alistair over you? Yes, I had dinner with him. Because I'm a coward, because I'm 32 years old and I still let my mother dictate my life. Because it's easier to pretend I'm the perfect little doll than to admit I'm in love with." She cut herself off too late. The silence became dense, heavy, laden with unspoken truths. "With whom?" Leo asked, taking a step forward. He was invading her space. Water dripped from his hair, his clothes, forming puddles on the floor. "Finish the sentence. You know, I need to hear it." Eleanor forced herself to meet his eyes in the flickering candlelight. Everything felt like a fever dream. "With you, I'm in love with you, and it terrifies me. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be real. I've pretended for so long that I've forgotten who I am when I'm not performing." Leo ran a hand over his face. Eleanor saw something shatter inside him. "Do you think you're the only one who's scared?" "I am too." "Scared of what?" "Of not being enough. Of you waking up one day and realizing you could have any man in this city, and you chose the one who lost everything, who lives with his sister, who's up to his neck in debt." His voice cracked on the last word. "You look at me as if I'm special. I'm terrified of the day that look changes, of the day you see what I really am, just another bloke trying to get by." "Do you think I don't see?" Eleanor retorted, closing the distance between them. Her hands cupped his wet face. "I see everything. I see that you're brilliant, stubborn, and too proud to ask for help. I see that you look after your sister and sketch designs in old notebooks because you can't stop creating beauty. I see that you treat me like a person, not a trophy or a charity project." Their faces were inches apart. Eleanor felt his warmth through their damp clothes. "And I see that you truly see me. That terrifies me, because no one ever truly saw me before. No one ever wanted to see me." "Eleanor." Her name on his lips, sounded like a prayer. Leo lowered his face. She raised hers. Their lips met softly, testing, questioning. Then he deepened the kiss. Eleanor forgot how to think. Her hands found his wet hair, pulling him closer. His hands gripped her waist, fingers pressing through her soaked clothes. The kiss was everything. Desperation, desire, months of tension finally erupting. Eleanor pulled him further into the house, stumbling over furniture in the dim light. Leo pressed her against the wall. She arched against him, wanting more, wanting everything. He pulled back, so abruptly she almost stumbled. "No, we can't." "Why?" Eleanor gasped, her lips swollen, her whole body vibrating with unfulfilled longing. "Because tomorrow you'll regret it. When the power returns and you see everything clearly, you'll regret it." "I won't. You will. You'll remember I'm just the gardener who fixes your pipes, and I can't just be that for you. No, after feeling..." He didn't finish the sentence. "Feeling what?" "Everything." The word came out broken, full of pain. "I feel everything with you. And when you dismiss me, when you decide it was fun but not practical, it will utterly break me." "Who decided you were just anything?" Eleanor held him by the shoulders, forcing him to look at her. "Me? Or yourself? I've never looked at you and seen just a gardener. Never. I didn't defend you even on that first day when my mother... I failed. I'll carry that shame forever. But since that moment, I ended things with Alistair before they even began. I hung up on my mother. I drove all over town looking for you. Tears and rain mingled on her face. I failed once, Leo. Once. And I'm here, begging for a second chance. But the decision is yours. Can you forgive me or not?" Leo closed his eyes. Eleanor saw the internal struggle, the storm in his chest. "It's not about forgiveness." "So what is it about then?" "It's about me not surviving if you break me. I've been broken too much already. There's not much left to break again." He opened his eyes. The raw pain there was undeniable. "You in Kensington, me in Brixton. Your postgraduate degree unused. My debts unending. Our worlds, Eleanor, they don't mix, no matter how much we want them to. What if I don't care? You will, when your mates have a laugh, your mum humiliating you, everyone asking, 'What's a Beaumont doing with a failed architect?' Stop calling yourself that. It's what I am." The confession exploded from him, silencing them both. "I lost everything. Everything I built, everything that mattered. Now I'm living off my sister's goodwill, cutting lawns to pay off debts that'll haunt me for years. What future have I got to offer? I don't want a future. I want you today. You want me today, but what about tomorrow? At the next charity gala, explaining who I am? When your mum says you can do better?" He recoiled, creating a physical distance that hurt more than any words. "I can't be your act of rebellion, Eleanor. I can't be the way you prove something to your mum or to yourself." "It's not, is it?" Leo grabbed his toolbox from the entrance. "The storm's passing. I need to go." "Don't." But he was already opening the door, the rain now a fine drizzle. "Leo, please, don't leave me like this." He paused on the threshold, back turned. "You left me first." Then he left, descending the steps, crossing the soaked garden towards his van. Eleanor followed him to the porch, the drizzle mixing with her tears. "I love you," the desperate cry, raw, real. Leo stopped, hand on the van door. His shoulders rose and fell with heavy breathing, but he didn't turn. He got into the van and drove off, leaving her there, drenched, broken, alone. The power came back minutes later, revealing the empty house. Candles still lit, puddles on the marble floor, physical proof of his presence, but Leo was gone. This time, Eleanor didn't know if he'd return. She slid down the wall to the wet floor, hugging her knees, allowing herself to finally break. Her phone vibrated. A message from Camilla. "Mum, Alistair called. Said you were rude. I expect a proper explanation." Eleanor stared at the message, the empty house, the life that no longer belonged to her. Then she typed the reply she should have given years ago. "The explanation is, I'm tired of living for your expectations. Tired of being the perfect daughter in a perfect life that doesn't make me happy. I need space, don't call me for a while. She sent it before regret could set in. She blocked her mother's number. She wept until her tears ran dry. When she finally managed to stand, it was already midnight. Outside, London sparkled, washed clean and new. Inside the Kensington mansion, Eleanor had never felt so lost. She'd cut ties with her mother, declared her love. She was completely, utterly alone. Eleanor didn't sleep. The night dragged on as she stared at the ceiling, rehearsing words that already felt hollow. At 6 in the morning, Dr. Anya Sharma answered. Eleanor, it's 6 in the morning. I need a session now. A heavy silence. Come, I'll be at the practice in 40 minutes. The doctor waited with strong coffee and a look of concern. Tell me. Eleanor poured it all out. The storm, the kiss, the irrevocable words. Leo was gone. I told him I loved him and he left. Her voice trembled. Because he didn't believe it or he was afraid. Both, she replied, the coffee burning her throat. He thinks it's my act of rebellion, a way to punish my mother, and maybe I made it seem that way. Do you love this man? This time the answer came without hesitation. Yes. So what will you do? Eleanor didn't know. He wasn't answering, she didn't have his address. No, Dr. Sharma corrected her. You know where to get that information. The question is, are you willing to truly go after him? Not call, not text, but go. Cross the city, step into his world, just as he stepped into yours. The thought terrified her and set her alight. Yes. Then go, before your courage drains away. Mrs. Higgins answered on the third ring. Eleanor, darling, is everything all right? I need Leo's address. Another silence. He asked me not to give it out. I know and I understand if you can't, but Mrs. Higgins, I need to see him. There are things the phone just won't allow me to say. Another sigh. Acacia Road, 87, flat 23, Brixton. Be gentle with him, Eleanor. Leo has suffered enough. I'll try to put it right, she promised. The journey from Kensington to Brixton consumed the time. Eleanor drove across London in her Mercedes, the city transforming around her. Sophisticated buildings gave way to simpler structures. Tree-lined streets became noisy thoroughfares. The scent of affluence yielded to the smell of real life. She got lost twice, almost gave up 3 times, but she kept going. For the first time in years, she had something worth fighting for. The block was modest, 5 stories high, faded paint, a small playground out front. Eleanor parked and faced herself in the rearview mirror. No elaborate makeup, no designer labels, just jeans and a plain white t-shirt. Herself, unarmored, an unconfessed terror. The intercom buzzed 3 times. Hello? A woman's voice, tired but cordial. Sarah, my name is Eleanor. I need to speak to Leo. A long pause. Are you the Kensington lady? I am, but that's not why I'm here. Another silence. Then the buzz of the door unlocking. 3rd floor, stairs to the right. Eleanor went up, her heart hammering. She arrived breathless, more from nerves than exertion. The door of number 23 was open. A woman in her late 30s, intelligent eyes, a ponytail, nurse's uniform, watched her. Sarah. They sized each other up. Sarah made way. Come in. The flat was small and immaculate. A worn but clean sofa. Photos adorned the walls. Sarah with a little girl, Leo at his graduation, the family in better times. And there at the kitchen table, Leo, with a cup of coffee, looking at Eleanor like a ghost. What are you doing here? I came to return your shirt, was her first answer. Ridiculous, but true. Leo blinked. What shirt? The one you lent me on the first day. I washed it, ironed it. It's in the car. You drove from Kensington to Brixton for a shirt? No. Eleanor advanced, forcing her legs to move. I came to apologize. I came to say things I should have said before. I came to fight for you. Sarah let out a low sound of approval. Leo, make coffee. Eleanor, sit. Sarah, no. Are they just going to stare at each other or talk like adults? Sarah wasn't one for beating around the bush. Leo moved mechanically towards the hob preparing coffee. Eleanor sat, hands trembling. Sarah, on the other side, appraised her. My brother's stubborn, you know, I noticed, and proud, too proud for his own good. Sarah, that's enough. Leo didn't turn around. But it's the truth. You'd rather sink alone than accept help. Exactly like our dad. He died bitter, alone. Sarah turned to Eleanor. Do you have the courage to love someone who will challenge you? Who won't let you pretend everything's all right? Eleanor hesitated. I think so. I want to try. Thinking isn't enough. Do you? Do you have the courage? I do. I have the courage. With a strained voice, Eleanor declared, I broke it off with Alistair. I blocked my mother after an argument. I drove an hour and 20 minutes to get here because I can't stop thinking about your brother since that day. Since he looked away when my shirt became transparent. Leo turned to the forgotten coffee. You blocked your mother. I did, and I don't regret it. Sarah smiled, satisfied. You can serve the coffee, Leo. She passed the test. He served the cups in silence. He sat, but his eyes didn't meet Eleanor's. Why are you really here? Because I love you. And because you're right. Leo's eyes lifted. Right about what? About me having failed, about being a coward. About everything? Eleanor held the cup, her hands no longer trembling. But you're wrong about something. You're not my act of rebellion. You are my awakening, Leo. Let me finish, please. Leo nodded, his jaw tight. I spent 8 years married to a man who never truly saw me. I became invisible. First I stopped working, then having opinions, eventually existing. I was my ex-husband's wife, the daughter of the Beaumonts, never just Eleanor. Her voice faltered, but she pressed on. Then you showed up. You saw me at my worst, drenched, humiliated, and you treated me with dignity, like a person, as if I mattered. You do matter, Leo whispered, to you perhaps. But I hadn't mattered to myself, not for years. Eleanor then revealed her hand, pulling papers from her handbag. Vacancies at international NGOs, refugees, human rights, sustainable development. I applied to all of them at some ungodly hour last night. Leo picked up the papers. Are you looking for a job? Yes, after 8 years I'm returning to my field. Sarah made a sound of approval. Does this have something to do with me? Leo asked cautiously. No, it has to do with me, with my awakening, with me finally living my own life. Eleanor pulled out another document, Leo's design project. But this has to do with you. I want to hire Leo Vance, landscape architect, to redesign my garden. Formal contract, fair market rate, everything by the book. Eleanor, I can't accept. Why not? The work is brilliant. You deserve to be paid. It sounds like I'm offering you charity. Is it charity to pay a qualified professional? Sarah interjected. Leo, would you turn down any other client? Or are you only saying no because it's her? He ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. It's different. Why? Because she. Because you're in love. And scared. Sarah finished without mercy. Welcome to the club, mate. Eleanor seized the opening. 3 months' work. You redesign the back garden. I pay the budget I've researched. It's fair. You deliver the project. We're professionals. And then? Leo finally looked directly at her. After the project, what happens? That's up to you. Me. You're the one who's scared. Scared I'll regret it. Fear whispered. Will it be temporary? Will I be enough? Eleanor squeezed his hands across the table. Her voice firm, she echoed. I'm here. I've traveled across the city, fought with my family, turned my life upside down. What more do I need to do to prove this is real? Leo fixed his gaze on the hands now holding his, then at Sarah, watching, and at the papers on the table, visible proof of a turning point. You really blocked your mum? I did. And Alistair? Haven't spoken to him since the restaurant. And the project? Do you really want it, or is it an excuse? I truly do. Your design is incredible. It makes the space breathe. She sensed something give way in Leo, a crack in his armor. What if it doesn't work out between us? He murmured. And what if it does? Eleanor urged him, squeezing his hands. I have no guarantees, Leo. I don't promise it'll be easy. My mum will hate it. Your mates will judge. The world will talk. It sounds terrifying, I know, but I promise I'll try. I'll show up. I'll fight when it's tough instead of running. Like I ran, like we both ran in different ways. Sarah stood, gathering the empty mugs. Are you two going to carry on with the drama, or can I go? Stay, Leo pleaded, holding his sister's wrist. You were right about everything. I know. I'm just that annoying, she teased, kissing his head before heading back to the sink. Leo finally smiled, a small but genuine smile. 3 months, he proposed. 3 months for the project. After that, we'll see. See what? Eleanor asked. If you can forgive me, if I can stop being a coward, if we can build something real. He studied her for a moment that seemed eternal. Right, I've got terms. The tone was all business. A formal written contract with a timeline and deliverables. I'm the service provider, you're the client. Agreed. During work hours, we're professional. No, none of that. He gestured vaguely between them, and Eleanor had to stifle a laugh. And outside of work hours? Leo hesitated, the vulnerability clear on his face. Outside of hours, can we just be Leo and Eleanor? Just Leo and Eleanor, she confirmed. No surnames, no money, no expectations, no fear. Just trying not to be afraid. Eleanor walked around the table, stopping in front of him. Leo stood too. For the first time, no distance separated them. Can I kiss you now, outside of work hours? He pulled her close, his hungry mouth finding hers, stealing her breath. The kiss was different, no longer desperate but purposeful, a promise, the beginning of something real. When they parted, Sarah was smiling from the sink. Finally, I thought you'd be faffing about all morning. Sarah, Leo blushed. What? You're adults, and I've seen kissing before. The door suddenly burst open, and a little girl, about 6, invaded the room. Auntie Sarah, Uncle Paul gave me chocolate. She stopped, eyes wide upon seeing Eleanor. Hi, who are you? This is Eleanor, a friend of your Uncle Leo. Girlfriend? The child's bluntness was a jolt. Leo and Eleanor exchanged a look. We're working on it, he replied, and Eleanor loved that honesty. My name's Chloe. I'm 6. You're pretty. Thank you. You too, Eleanor replied. Chloe waved and darted into the bedroom. Sorry, she's got no filter, Sarah said, but she was smiling openly. She's perfect. Eleanor realized she meant it. Everything here was perfect. The cozy flat, the loving family, the honest simplicity of the moment. Stay for lunch? Sarah offered. It's nothing fancy, but we'd love for you to. At the small kitchen table, they tucked into homemade pasta. Chloe chattered non-stop, and Sarah recounted embarrassing stories of a young Leo. Eleanor couldn't recall the last time she'd felt so light. When she said her goodbyes, it was already past 5. Leo walked her to her car. Thanks for coming. A soft kiss sealed the promise. Thanks for the chance, she murmured. Leo assured her, Monday, professional kit and survey, without fail. Before closing the car door, Eleanor declared, Leo, I love you still, always. I know, and I'm getting there, he replied. It was enough. More than enough. Driving back to Kensington, London felt smaller, the distance between their worlds surmountable. For the first time in years, Eleanor felt perfectly alive. 3 months, an eternity, a blink of an eye. In the warmth of summer, Eleanor watched Leo making the final adjustments to the irrigation. Promise it won't explode this time, she teased. His laugh, familiar and comforting, was music. Professional, I promise, he confirmed. She knew. It had been 3 months of dedication, Leo punctual, professional until 5. After 5, it was just Leo and Eleanor. The garden was unrecognizable. Formal roses had given way to a native paradise. Silver birches, hawthorn and wild meadow flowers. A stone path wound through the plants, culminating in a wooden deck, beneath a pergola of wisteria. Perfect, Eleanor murmured. Leo, smelling of earth and sun, corrected her, pulling her close. Not for the first time. We are perfect. She smiled, burying her face in his neck. The guests arrive in an hour. I know. That's why I'm making the most of it now. A long, slow kiss, that electric jolt, still intact. The phone's ring broke the kiss. Eleanor answered. Olivia? Your landscaper, my sister-in-law, saw the photos, wants a quote for the Richmond Park estate. Leo raised an eyebrow. Another one, she smiled. The 5th, this week. He had already anticipated it. Tom started on Monday, remember? My old uni mate who lost his job in the downturn. Debts? She asked. Manageable. I'll be paying them off until I'm 50. But thanks to you and your posh Instagram friends, he smiled. I only showed your work, they saw the quality. And you? She asked. The Syrian family's visa's approved. Meeting with the German consulate next week. The pride in his eyes warmed her more than the summer sun. You're incredible. Learning. Years out of work, but remembering fast. The sound of cars interrupted the silence. The guests. Sarah stepped out first, Chloe skipping beside her. Uncle Leo, Eleanor, the garden is beautiful, she exclaimed, running to hug them both. For the past 3 months, she'd simply become part of it all. A constant presence by Leo's side, both on weekends and at work. It made Eleanor question her own future, family, belonging, permanence. Thoughts whispered aloud just to herself. Just then Mrs. Higgins arrived, beaming, carrying a strawberry tart. Leo, my boy, just look at this, you've surpassed all expectations. The hug, a loaded moment, revealed Mrs. Higgins's heartfelt emotion. After all, she had put her faith in Leo when no one else would. Tom Davies arrived with his girlfriend, the same old uni-mate who'd caught them at the Old Lion. Now there was no shock, just admiration. Mate, this is absolutely surreal. You've got to put me forward for some projects. Leo just smiled. We'll chat about it later. The garden soon buzzed with life. Friends, Eleanor's NGO colleagues, curious neighbors. Laughter and soft music filled the space, vibrant with life. Suddenly a familiar Mercedes pulled up. To Eleanor's surprise, it was Lady Camilla Beaumont, impeccable and cautious. They hadn't spoken in nearly a month, not since their row. Sarah, quite by chance, had bridged the gap with a frank conversation about pride, family, and second chances. Mother. Eleanor. Their gaze was long, heavy. Camilla opened her arms and Eleanor allowed herself the embrace. You look lovely, darling. Happy. I'm different. For the better. Camilla swept her gaze across the vibrant garden. Leo animated with Tom, Chloe laughing. Yes, for the better. It wasn't an apology, nor full acceptance, but it was a start. Leo extended a hand. Lady Camilla, thank you for coming. She hesitated. Eleanor held her breath. Camilla squeezed his hand. The garden is beautiful, Leo. You have a great deal of talent. Thank you. The woman hesitated again. Eleanor saw the effort. And my daughter seems happy, thank you for that. It hadn't been easy for her to say. Leo, respectful but firm, replied, She makes me happy too. A trace of softness appeared on Camilla's face. Would you both like to have dinner next week? I'd like to get to know you better. Leo was speechless. Eleanor squeezed his hand. We'd absolutely love to. Camilla nodded, leaving them alone as she went to greet Sarah. She invited me to dinner. Leo was stunned. She did, Eleanor confirmed. Does she hate me? No, she's trying. It's the most I can ask for. He pulled her into a hug. Eleanor melted into him. 3 months ago you didn't even know my surname, he whispered. 3 months ago I was sinking. Both of us. And now? Now we're swimming together. Together. Sarah, with Chloe and a couple of beers, appeared. Stop canoodling and come socialize. Leo gave a sarcastic salute. Yes, ma'am. The afternoon dissolved into night. LED lights installed by Leo created a magical atmosphere. Music grew louder, dancers spilled onto the deck. Eleanor was chatting with Olivia when a sound made her eyes widen. The irrigation system. It had come on at the wrong time. Water jetted everywhere, drenching surprised guests who shrieked and laughed. Eleanor looked at Leo, horrified. You said it wouldn't explode. Wet, unconcerned, he roared with laughter. It didn't explode, just came on early. Chloe leapt through the jets, cheering. Sarah kicked off her shoes and joined the soggy party. Other guests followed suit, turning the mishap into a proper celebration. Leo held out his hand to Eleanor. Come on, I'll get soaked. I know. The sight of him, hair plastered, shirt soaked, radiant smile, transported Eleanor back to that first day. The shame, the fear. She remembered how he'd averted his gaze, offering kindness where she'd only expected judgment. Eleanor took his hand, surrendering to the water. The jet, icy and perfect, drew a shriek from her, which turned to laughter. Leo spun her around. They danced an imperfect ballet under the accidental irrigation, drenched, ridiculous, and utterly happy. He paused, his wet hands on her face. "Can I look at your wet shirt now?" The question, an echo from their first encounter, made her laugh and cry. "You can look at everything, I have nothing left to hide." It was the truth. No armor, no lies, no shame. Just them. Complete. Leo kissed her in the garden they had built, literally and metaphorically. The water fell. Friends applauded. Eleanor looked around. The garden thrummed with life. Sarah was teaching Chloe to dance in the water. Lady Camilla chatted with Mrs. Higgins. Tom Davies filmed the party. And Leo, the rarest treasure in the world, in his gaze. 3 months prior, she'd been drowning in a life she no longer recognized. Now, she was drenched in a vibrant garden, surrounded by loved ones beside a real man. Alive, and with no plans to stop. Later, the garden silent, everyone gone. On the deck, beneath the stars, Eleanor and Leo sat wet and laughing. "Did the system fail, or did you plan that?" she teased. "A gentleman never tells. Perhaps I programmed it. Perhaps not. You'll never know." She nudged him. He pulled her closer. "Thank you," he whispered into her hair. "For what? For being brave, for finding me, for us building this. We built it together. Together." They stayed there, London breathing, the garden living. They were planting not just flowers, but a future, infinitely possible for the very first time.